Good morning, Mets fans, and welcome to a Tuesday edition of Driving with Mr. Met. I am Mr. Met, and if there were a song playing in the background, in other words, if I weren't too afraid of YouTube's policies about copywritten materials, I'd be playing Mama Said by the Shirelles, because Mama said there'd be days like this. Last night was the first real ugly game of the season for the Mets. And I really can't even say it was an ugly game. It was an ugly inning for the Mets, and I'm going to talk about that today. For the better part of 2 hours last night, Jacob deGrom was about as dominant as he's ever been on the mound. He commanded the entire game from start to finish, with the exception, of course, of Bryce Harper's voodoo magic on his broken bat home run in the first inning. But deGrom was otherworldly last night. He pitched such a fantastic game. Went zipped through the order after that home run to Harper, which was ridiculous. Nobody should be able to hit a home run with their bat shattering the way that Harper's did. That's just nuts. But deGrom settled down beautifully. He mowed the Nationals down left and right. He's striking guys out at a ridiculous pace, kept his pitch count in control. It was the best start by a Mets starter this year up until the 8th inning. Yeah, positive side was that deGrom went out to start the 8th inning. He recorded 1 out, but he looked as though he ran out of gas. He really did look as though he had run out of gas completely. And so after 7 1/3, he's pulled, and runner on first, and Seth Lugo comes in relief, and 4-pitch walk. Seth Lugo comes out. AJ Ramos comes in. Ramos can't deal with guys on base. He underperforms as well, unable to retire anyone. Familia comes in. Familia proceeds to walk in. Ramos walked in a run. Forgot to mention that. Then Familia proceeds to walk in a run. Then Familia proceeds to hit the next batter with a pitch and allow a run to score. Long story short, it was a really ugly 2/3 of an inning in an otherwise fantastic game. Completely lopsided game for the Mets. I mean, the Mets were in complete control of this game from the second inning on. They put together nice at-bats. They built themselves a nice 6-1 cushion. deGrom was cruising. This should have been a signed, sealed, and delivered victory for the Mets. But this is baseball. It's why they play the games. It's why they don't run out the clock. It's one of the reasons I love this sport so much, because anything can happen. And last night, unfortunately, anything happened to the Mets. I don't know. I'm not going to get super mad. It's the first hiccup of the season. I'm not going to question Mickey Callaway, although we probably could. You know, this is probably the first opportunity of the season where we could say, maybe don't go with Lugo there to start. You know, with a runner on first base. Maybe you're better off going to Ramos first and seeing if Ramos can get out of that jam to start. Maybe you're better off going to Robles. I don't know. You know, that you might second guess the use of the bullpen in that inning, but anyone that does, and anyone that's blaming the manager's decisions, I'm sorry, the bullpen has to do its job. You know, you bring a reliever in, they got to get the job done. Period. There's no getting around it. Strike the guy out, walk the guy, throw the pitch, make the pitch, do your job, and Mickey Callaway continues to look like the genius that he's looked like all season. It's the reason he's looked so good is that every time he's brought someone in a particular situation, that person has excelled. And oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that Jerry Blevins was in there in the mix in that inning as well. Anyway, ugly inning. Maybe you question Mickey's decision for bringing in who he brought in. I was more puzzled, frankly, by his use of both Cespedes and Bruce in the bottom of the 8th with nobody on base. I was really surprised that he went to both of them there. I couldn't see one maybe, and you know, looking for the tying home, the game tying home run. But using both of the big power weapons off the bench in the bottom of the 8th seemed a little bit suspect to me. quite know why he would have gone that route. So the first blip on the 2018 Mets', or the first chink in the 2018 Mets' armor last night, April 16th, 2018. So now the question remains, or the question at hand is, do the 2018 New York Mets come out tonight and fight back immediately? Or does this do something to upset the momentum that this team had built over its first 15 games? 14 games. Let's not forget, this team is still has 3 losses. Okay, that's still a very small number of losses. They still have a 5-game lead over these Nationals. Now, it's early. These games are very important. So again, tonight will be a test for this team. I'm personally looking forward to seeing how they come out tonight, what kind of attitude they have tonight, and how they react to last night's crushing defeat. I'm kind of mad at myself because I didn't watch Mickey Callaway's post-game press conference after the game. I was kind of mad in general and didn't want to watch anything. But I wish I could have seen what he had to say and sort of defend his decisions if he was put on the spot. But I'll check that out today, perhaps. And I will be back tomorrow to recap tonight's game, which I hope is a bounce-back effort for the entire team and a trouncing that the Nationals deserve, because they're the worst. So, until tomorrow, I thank you for watching. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, leave them in the comment section below, or follow me on Twitter at Mr_Met, and let me know what you think in there. So thanks for watching, and as always, even in defeat, let's go Mets.